welcome to Square Table Discussions, where the opinions are probably 90 degrees separated from each other. Did you know Square Table meeting was a real phrase?
Nope.
I did not know that until we had already recorded these. That, like, the concept of Square Table meetings was real.
Huh.
It's just a meeting where one guy talks all the time.
Oh, so yeah, we're good.
Yeah, pretty much. So, got Justice with me.
Hey.
Got Diabetes Ninja with me.
Top of the morning.
And I want to ask, have you guys seen the new Death Stranding video?
You know for a fact I have.
Yeah, I was there.
Although you can't visually verify that I was looking at the screen while it was being played while I was in the room, I actually watched it a couple of other times to take inventory, and yes, love it. Love the trailer.
Alright, so, thoughts and predictions for the game. As of right now, the game is scheduled to come out in November, which is only a few months away. So, it comes out pretty soon. We'll probably only get, like, maybe one more trailer. That won't matter.
Yeah, like
Before it
right
comes
before
out.
the launch,
Yeah.
I assume.
So, we have all the information we need to judge if we're going to, like, buy it day one or not.
I had the information to judge whether I was going to buy it day one or not when it was announced.
A Hideo Kojima video game?
Yeah. My boy's free.
Hashtag fuck Konami.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about the game. We got about a 5-month window in between now and the time of release. Like everybody. You know, it's funny, I think that everybody made their mind pretty early on this. I actually don't know if they're really moving the needle. I'm glad that we're getting these trailers to, like, keep the momentum and keep us excited and keep our wheels spinning or whatever. But I feel like people have their minds made up, I think. We'll see.
And we don't have too much. We even still don't really have too much to go on.
Oh, I know that now plays like Metal Gear Solid 4.
Do we know that?
I'm pretty confident.
It definitely has some third-person shooting, and you look like you move in a 3D space. So it's got those two things in common.
Oh man, you're so clever.
All right, now, I'm trying to keep in mind the things that were said in interviews years ago. And I know that one of the points of emphasis that were being talked about were the moving away from combat and having it be more of... basically, they're talking about how the first two tools that human beings invented were a stick to strike things and rope, which binds things. And they were talking about how this was going to be a game where there was a lot of emphasis... Like, there was much less emphasis on striking, which is used to break or divide things, and a lot more on tying things together. Now...
Is the thing we're tying together Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro, and is the rope that we're using to tie it together babies?
Okay, now...
Because it looks like babies.
Now, I think that at this point... We look at any trailers about a Kojima game through this, like, skeptical lens where we don't really try to think that there's going to be... I think that... I'm not going to say that what we're being shown is false, but I think that what we're being shown might not necessarily be representative, just like stuff wasn't representative.
I mean, gameplay-wise, we haven't... Again, gameplay, we haven't really seen much at all. We've seen the guy use a ladder, we've seen the guy climb down a cliff, and we've seen the guy shoot for, like, 1 second.
Can I be honest with you?
Probably not.
I don't... Okay. I don't expect anything big or new or unique to come out of the gameplay. I think all the unique and weirdness is coming straight from the story and setting.
He's kind of already stated that he wants to be kind of weird and unique with the gameplay, focusing on it from a different direction, though.
Okay, well, I mean... I didn't see that.
Well, see, here's what's actually the most interesting about the game to me is conspicuous by its absence are several things.
Punch some dudes.
Well,
we definitely punch some dudes.
Well, punching, yes. However, there is going to be combat whenever people are trying to stop you from tying things together. if somebody interrupts you, you got to punch that guy to
Yeah,
continue.
I think what was the third or fourth trailer?
This is the fourth trailer, so
In the third trailer, we mostly saw some like exploration type gameplay, walking around and like different types of traversal. And here we kind of see it again. I think that's going to be a big focus of the game, as far as the gameplay is concerned. I think the combat's going to be there, but I don't think it's going to be the main point.
So, Metal Gear Solid 5?
No. Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't know what the main point was. I just know that I tied a bunch of sheep to balloons and that every time I got spotted, I shot up a base and I was fine.
That's true. Well, when you're first playing 5 and you don't realize that you're a messiah, you take it super slow. But yeah, once you start leveling shit up...
And that's really what I want to avoid with this game. I want it to give me like movement options for getting around enemies and having to be like clever to take them out, and I want it to make me use them and not let me run and gun through stuff.
We shall see. I don't know.
Now,
I can't shake off the feeling that he's tipped his hand further than we'd like to admit.
I disagree, and here's why.
Well, not story-wise, but gameplay-wise.
I think not any of it wise, and here's why I think that. Conspicuous by its absence are some of the elements that he has actually filed trademarks for. The social strand system, or whatever that thing was that he copyrighted, I want to know, how is this multiplayer element where you're working cooperative with other people? We have seen nothing that even comes close to representing that. And whenever we're like seeing the three guys trying to stop the guy, how do we know that we aren't playing as the three guys with sticks trying to stop the guy?
Because I've seen a gameplay trailer before and I'm not stupid.
Okay, well, maybe. I don't discount any of the possibilities. Because of the fact that Kojima never completely tips his hand and he always shows us things that are interesting but not representative.
I don't know what the social strand multiplayer connection is going to be, but I know exactly immediately what I want it to be, and I want it to be that weird baby bridge thing. I want you to press a button and like you just swap places with another player. Into their world and they go into yours.
That's as logical as any other thing that I've heard.
What if they just steal babies? What if Del Toro was stealing Norman Reedus' baby?
I don't think it's based on some of the conversation they give in the newest trailer. I don't think it's like a normal baby thing. I think it's a more closely resembles a device.
Yeah.
They even do that weird baby doll thing towards the end of it.
I'm also just going to keep calling it the baby.
I mean, it definitely, at the very least, has the appearance of the baby, and I'm probably also going to call it the baby.
Well, they specifically call it a bridge baby. There does seem to be a distinction.
And they talk about... They kind of hint towards it being how you go toward... Was it not another like reality or dimension, but like another time?
Well, that and... like how you can sense things. Like, because I think what they were saying, what they were hinting at, is that everybody's got to basically science a baby into a tube, but Norman Reedus just kind of has one down his throat. So Norman Reedus has
we see him carrying the baby in the tube, though.
I mean, he definitely carries it, but he's definitely got it in his throat. And he definitely says...
I don't know if I would consider...
He definitely says, oh, I can just sense him. And the dude's all like, yeah, well, we got to use other means. And then, he's showing the baby in the tube and shit.
They have shown us that. Man, there's so much stuff that could qualify as nightmare body horror, weird shit that isn't real and a hallucination, or...
well, don't worry, because
thematic.
I don't own a PS4 Pro, so it's not going to look anywhere near this good for me.
As for his own means of sensing things, we in this trailer we do see that 5-lock necklace thing that he has floating up in the air during parts of it.
I think that has a different significance.
It might. Again, that's the thing about talking like this, is we still don't really know that much.
Look, all I feel confident about is how the gameplay is going to shake down.
Yeah, because
I am scared that I can only jump to like the quote-unquote other side at predetermined intervals.
All right, so let's talk about that. What do we want?
I want it to be full-on Titanfall style.
That's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about is I'm scared that it's going to channel me and not let me jump back and forth.
I think that's an example of what you don't want. But see, it sounds like you're also answering that question too. You're saying you want it to be like a Zelda Link to the Past, where you just in any eligible place you can go to the other place, right? Is that right?
I mean, when he was talking about the whole ropes versus sticks thing, and he was showing me babies from, like, creepy Nightmare Beach all the way to World War One with skeleton lads, I thought it was going to be like Link to the Past, only super puzzle-oriented with weird fucking nightmare stories. And I still want that game. You could go watch my other Death Stranding video from like a year plus back, and that was my prediction. But I'm looking at the gameplay footage now, and I'm like, that's not going to happen. I was totally off base. It's going to be Metal Gear Solid 4 with a ridiculous story setting it apart. And at predetermined points, I'll probably go to like the other side.
That's the other thing, is I don't really want to... I don't like judging games based off what the studio's made in the past, like comparing them. Because I feel like that stifles like people's ability to make a new game. So I don't really want to compare it to Metal Gear, gameplay-wise at least. Especially when we don't even really know what the gameplay is.
I mean, he's already got my money.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not going to play it. It could be complete garbage, and I'm going to have fun because I like Kojima's brand of bullshit.
Okay. Now,
but, like,
now if
I just know what to expect.
What do you... Okay, now, which do you think is the front that he's less likely to deliver on? Delivering a profound message or delivering a profound gameplay experience? Because I think that we kind of hope it's both, and the trailers are hitting us over the head with all these, look at how profound it could be on both fronts, and also no expenses spared to, you know...
Oh, I mean, I promised myself not to be a Debbie Downer on this podcast, but I expect the story to be pretentious, kind of bullshit.
Arriving at a different conclusion than you would, or just not being interesting?
Oh, I mean, if I didn't think it'd be interesting, I wouldn't buy it. I just don't expect it to really... I don't expect to see the ending and be like, my life has now been enhanced by art. I expect to get to the ending and be like, really? That shit? Okay. Because, I don't know if you guys remember Metal Gear Solid. I love Metal Gear Solid. Favorite game series of all time. Hands down. 2's ending is kind of garbage. 3's ending is kind of garbage. Don't get me started on 4 and 5's.
3's ending is fine.
Which one?
3? 2's ending is kind of weird,
fine.
but I wouldn't call it garbage. I would say it tried to do something, and I think it did it.
I think 3 is fine in the sense that, like, he becomes Big Boss, and that's cool. Spoilers for a fucking 20-year-old game now.
That's... we knew going in what the game was going to be. We were excited because we were told, hey, it's the game about Big Boss.
What's kind of bullshit is Lightning Man dies by lightning. Also, here, have an escort mission right at the end. You pieces of shit. I don't love my fan base.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
tongue-in-cheek, obviously. I love Metal Gear Solid. And honestly, you can't really start criticizing the plot until, like, 4. 4 is where it gets too pretentious. And I just feel like now that Kojima doesn't have to answer to Konami, he's like, I got one shot to, like, directly transfer what occupies my mind at night to games.
See, I wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay of 4, but 4's story was what made me play it. I quite enjoyed it, actually. Watching Ocelot just go fucking crazy.
All right, now, here's the... Now, Guillermo del Toro... Sorry, I had to slow down and say that a second time. His involvement is curious for me because he's
a fantastic writer.
And do you think that he would want his name to be associated with something that wasn't profound in a way? Like he wants this inclusion. He's gone out of his way.
How big his involvement in the game is, because I've heard everything from like he is one of the big heads behind the game to he is guest starring in the game.
Okay, now do we think that he just wants an in to be like an on-screen talent, or do you think that he believes?
Okay, I'm gonna look it up real quick, but I'm 100% sure that all he is an actor in the game. That he's not writing anything, he's not directing anything.
Like, let's look back, though. He was involved with PT, and I think that at that point, conceptually, they were doing work together, and I think that... I don't know, man. I think that Del Toro was buying what Kojima was selling.
And if we're talking about story just from what we know so far, like, I'm already hooked, I'm already interested. I see a lot of threads that I'm wanting to go down, and it really just comes down to how well he's able to, or how satisfyingly he's able to tie those up.
According to the man himself, he is just an actor. He's not creatively involved in Death Stranding. And
Is that curious for you guys? Do you guys think that he had other opportunities to be an on-screen talent, and is it
he
weird?
is friends with Kojima. They were working together.
Yeah, I feel
and
like just
then-
about everybody that we know about that's working on this project is friends. Like, it's well, not everybody, obviously. We have a couple actors out now that are probably there because they're actors.
No, they were working together, and then Konami said, "You're not working together." And then Kojima says, "I'm going to go all out and be fucking weird. You're not doing anything, are you? Come be weird with me." And he was like, "You know what? It's motion caption. I can have all my motion caption basically recorded by the time the second trailer drops. So I can just go ahead and get it out of the way using my PT time."
Now, you know what? It's funny. Like, I guess I might have to walk this back, and we'll, like, know one way or the other whether or not we see Del Toro influence in the end product, because people don't have to actually be on the same payroll to be creative influences on each other. And I just think that if nothing else, in brainstorming sessions, when they're just sitting around, like, talking about things, I just feel like Del Toro's a guy that they probably get along creatively and take cues from each other creatively.
Maybe, I don't know.
Seeing his work in other places, I know that if I was working on something and Del Toro just happened to be in the same room, I feel like he would influence it in some way.
Well, this is what and that's something. I mean, maybe it isn't something you put on your resume, but it's something. And I feel like I'm curious to see if after this project is done, if they continue to work together and develop.
God, I hope so.
Like, now, this could be a thing where Kojima, who clearly thinks himself a director, I'm not disagreeing, but I think that this actually could be the other way around. This could be the tail wagging the dog. Maybe this is like Kojima's way to have an in into Hollywood. We'll see if anything is coming of that.
What do you mean he's in that trailer for that Amazon show, was it? What's the name of that trailer?
I don't know.
Nobody's aware what you're talking about.
Hang on.
I feel like we got off topic.
I'm about to look
This
this
is
up.
supposed to be about Death Stranding, and we've so far talked about Metal Gear and Del Toro. And
Okay.
Yeah, because every time I say something not high praise, everybody wants to stop and try to...
Every time
Get
that
me.
you undermine what other people just said. All right, so let's try this then. You guys are both sold. You guys are both buying the game. I am probably the most excited for the game. I'm also the least likely to buy the game in this room.
I'm pretty excited for the game.
So I don't have a Gen A system, full disclosure, and this is actually going to be one of the last possible join inclines for me to buy a Gen 8 system, and I genuinely want for this game to give me a reason to buy
a PS5, because it's going to look better on that than a PS4. Because all the trailers are showing it with PS4.
My position has
Pro.
long been that Gen 8 is the disposable generation that we don't need and doesn't do nothing.
To tie off that previous thread we had, April 6th, there was a trailer for a Amazon show called Drive, and he was in the trailer. He, like, straight up beheads a dude.
Okay.
So, yeah, he
That sounds true.
definitely got his in to
Okay.
Hollywood.
Now, as an on-screen talent, I think that you actually attack this thing on multiple fronts, though. I think that you go ahead and get a credit as an on-screen talent if that's what's available, and then you attach yourself to a guy. I think that there's a lot of double-ended coattail riding going on about this. At least I hope so. I hope that this collaboration results in everybody being able to dabble in everybody's medium. Hopefully the game is good enough.
Yeah, again, I can't really talk about any of that because that's extreme speculation. I feel like.
Right. And you're right about the other thing. We've gotten off topic from the game. I think that the trailers are spaced far enough apart now that we forget about Death Stranding, and then they hit us with another trailer. It was about time for another trailer.
Actually, I feel a little differently. I feel like they took a little too long on this one because the first two came out close enough together to where I was overanalyzing the shit out of those trailers. And then the third one came out, and I did the same with it. And then the fourth one came out, and it's been so long since I even thought about the trailers that I just watched it like a game trailer.
To be honest, there's not much there to pick apart Well, okay, let me rephrase this.
There's more gameplay
There
to pick apart
doesn't-
than there has been before, that's for sure.
There doesn't look like there's anything there to, like, really pick apart meaningful.
Oh, I
Answers-
disagree.
There's answers to multiple questions that we had in the other trailers.
Also, I actually disagree with you wholeheartedly because showing us all those threads about America's fragmented and we need you to go out west and be a new frontiersman because America's so fractured now. And I'm like, whoa, like, heavy-handed social commentary alert, like...
Yeah, but that's obvious. Like, you watched it once and you picked it up. Meanwhile, a bunch of dead crabs and a man giving birth on a beach kind of demands you multiple viewings, does it not? Like,
certainly thought-provoking.
yes, that's thought-provoking, we'll say.
I think, yeah, I guess that is kind of the thing. It's that the first the first two trailers at least were mostly
Symbolic.
yeah. It was a bunch of symbolism thrown around. I honestly didn't take any of it to be literal towards the game, and just thought.
And I think a
all
lot
it
of
to
people were going to
thematic.
be upset because I bet you a lot of people did.
No, I immediately saw those and was like, okay, so these are like the themes of the game.
Yeah, he's selling the concept. And the concept is whatever the fuck happened there. But, like, there's reasons for you to really go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and then when you realize you could play both the controllers side by side, people really lost their fucking shit.
Oh, I lost my shit for sure.
But, like, this is a standard edit, please buy my game controller, that asks questions that you can't possibly speculate on, really, until you get the game in your hand. It's not the same. It's not comparable.
Okay, now, assuming none of that content we've seen in the first couple of ones rears its head, however, I don't think that those two things are mutually exclusive. We can get everything that we just seen in that trailer, and we can get everything that we've seen in the other trailers, and you can...
I mean, the Commander Mads and the Skeleton Lads thing was definitely true. I guess, to be fair, the Guillermo del Toro with the baby under the bridge was probably also pretty literal. That could just be a cutscene from the game itself, honestly.
Alright.
A lot of these could just be dream sequences.
Now that we've seen the past timeline.
If I find out that the entire first trailer was a dream sequence, I'm going to be kind of upset. And I'm not even sure why I'm going to be upset about it. I'm just going to be upset.
Because Norman Reedus wasn't really naked?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, whether he's naked in the game or not, I already got my perfectly fine dose of Norman Reedus man-ass, so...
Yeah, Raiden 2.0.
Lost but never found.
Well, do we got anything else?
I mean, final thoughts? The gameplay is not going to do anything I probably haven't seen before, unless, like, they really pull something out of their ass that they've been holding super close to
I
the
don't
chest.
think they're going to pull out any new systems by any means with the gameplay. And I mean, granted, we have the stuff that he's patented that we haven't seen yet.
I expect the story to be super weird for weird's sakes. I expect to like it, but I also expect that once I experience it one time, it's probably going to be one of those things that's not as good on the repeat. That's just the gut feeling I got.
It's actually starting to seem a little less weird to me after this last trailer. It's starting to kind of become more grounded.
Yeah, I can't really put my finger on it, so I didn't really want to talk about that, but it seems like it's going to be a standard plot with just weird plot. It's going to be anime. It's going to be King on top of Gurren Lagann,
I wouldn't
where
go
it's your
that
very
far.
standard hero plot, but it's just fucking every plot point's outlandish as fuck. Who wants to throw galaxies around, kids? So,
Do you guys feel like
slight spoilers for King on top of Gurren Lagann.
Oh. Do you guys feel like Sam working directly for the president is like a weird cop-out? Because if I had any misgivings...
Oh, it's not a cop-out. It's meant to offend a certain section of people, I promise.
Again, we don't know enough about the game's overarching plot to make assumptions like that.
I feel like...
It just feels like sometimes they'll do things like that to invoke an air of importance. That I know that Kojima's above that, and I probably am. It is probably what you're saying. It probably is like meant to be.
It seems, honestly, it seems like a plot device to get our character into the action, because he definitely seems to be the character archetype where he doesn't want to be involved. But I mean, we see him not in handcuffs. We definitely see handcuffs on him at one point in the trailer. We know that he's working directly for the government, or what's left of it.
The reluctant right hand of the president. I don't know. It just seems like a trope, kind of.
It is a trope.
Everything's a trope.
And maybe it's a commentary on the trope. Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but I don't know. The less abstract, the more I am like, okay, so we're supposed to scrutinize it now that we have details? Because, like, as long as we're just being weird, I didn't really critically try to comb over it with a fine-tooth comb and try to get particular...
This latest trailer makes you want to be critical and logically think it out, though.
It's giving you enough detail. Like, it's the first details...
He has actual details to go off of now. That aren't Norman Reedus' weird throat tube baby. Dead crabs on a beach.
5 different Mad Mickelsons, for some reason.
No, there's just one. He just has the skeleton lads. Which, again, actually turned out to be more literal than I originally anticipated.
I noticed that there were 4 of them. I don't know if that's like a direct allusion to the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I don't know. Kojima would never do heavy-handed symbolism like that, so probably not.
Man, I'm going to kick you out of my house for saying that shit. Also, the number 4 is associated with death in Japanese.
Oh.
We do consistently see the number 5 in our trailers, though. With the lock necklaces, the floating beings in the first trailer.
Ooh, good catch.
Mads and his skeleton lads.
Good catch. So
yeah, together they're 5.
Let's not bury the lead. This is the real Metal Gear Solid 5.
So,
That's the theme this whole time. It was just 5.
does the baby age up to be Snake?
But it's a clone, so it ages super fast.
You know,
anyway,
if I could be a
feel
fly
like we're at the end of this,
if I could be a fly on the wall anywhere, I would want to be a fly on the wall at Konami's legal as they watch this trailer. Because, like, wouldn't it be neat to like know what those guys are thinking about watching this? Like this,
grinding their teeth,
like hoping this game fails so hard. So, how about this for closing? What do you think is a success? What number do you think is a success, and do you think it'll get there?
Oh, I'm sure it's already there now. Pre-orders opened the other day, right?
Yeah, as far as sales go, it's gonna succeed. As far as whether it's a game, I don't think it can live up to the hype. I don't think it can. I don't think it's possible for a game to get this hyped and then people not be at least a little disappointed that it wasn't.
Don't you feel like the hype was the point whenever Sony brought him in, though? Don't you feel
absolutely.
like the end goal has been met to me?
Yeah, no, he succeeded.
Sony made their money.
Sony succeeded, Kojima succeeded.
It's just that,
already.
the next Hideo Kojima game sell. Because the next Hideo Kojima game could be like the second coming of Mario. If this game doesn't have a good user score at the end of it, his second game won't sell at all. His company's in trouble.
Well, see, conceptually, they're firing all the bullets, right? Like, he'll never have another creative thought. He is emptying the magazine now.
I can only fucking
honestly,
imagine.
I don't think he has an emptyable magazine. This is the man that every time we've seen him work on a project, other people have had to hold him back. I don't think he's ever going to run out of material.
And now he's not being held back. Did you see the picture of him with doing mocap recordings with Norman Reedus? Norman Reedus is sitting there holding a baby doll, looking really confused, and Hideo Kojima's all like, "It's fine, it's fine." He's got his hands out like this. Shit. It's like one of my favorite.
Well, yeah, he was one of the inky black things in the second trailer, I think.
Oh yeah. So
Hideo Kojima himself.
Yeah, we are hitting time. So, guys, this is Square Table Discussions, and not much to say. Rolling out 20 seconds, so we can do all the end shit for YouTube.
I'm excited for the game. Gameplay presents interesting options. Story seems like it might be solid.
I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know.
I'm optimistic.
I don't know if I'm as optimistic.
You never are.
Laura's never optimistic.
Okay.